Hello everyone, welcome to my informative speech. My name is Cameron Spunger, and today I'm going to talk about New York poverty and what we can do to fix it and why it is so high. New York poverty is at an all-time high due to the amount of taxes that are put in place for the people living in the state and the amount of money needed to live in the state. People are going homeless at a significant rate every single day in New York. Through 2011 through 2015, 1.7 million people in New York were going homeless, living in poverty. That is just a crazy amount of people. No people in a state should be living like that. This is also due to the availability of jobs, underemployment, and wage stagnation. The underemployment, people just aren't going out and getting jobs, or they getting fired from their jobs, and they can't go out and get other jobs because the amount of jobs in New York, there's just not a lot of jobs in New York. If you get fired from a job, more than likely you're not going to find another job in New York, and you're going to have to move out of the state. Or you get fired from your job and that job is being replaced by a robot, because we live in a time where technology is so advanced where robots are taking our jobs away from us, or the jobs are being replaced overseas. Since the 1980s, New York's poverty rate has generally hovered between 19 and 21% and remains higher than the national rate. That is just insane. The amount of people living in the United States, New York state has the most poverty. That's just, I don't get why people would want to live there. The poverty and the homelessness there. New York used to be a state about dreams. People, even me, I used to dream about going to New York, living in New York, and living in those tall, like, apartment style, looking over the city style apartments. But we can't do that because there's just the amount of money I need and other people need to live there is just insane. More than half the neighborhoods in the Bronx are high poverty or extreme poverty. 7% are on Staten Island, and the other 4% are in Queens. People are suffering every day because they can't get the amount of money, they can't get the food, they can't buy the food. And New York is doing nothing to help them at all. Like, New York is doing nothing to help them. New York is not benefiting anybody by living there. Sure, you get to see good scenery and see all these celebrities and everything like that, but you can go elsewhere and see other people and have a good sustained foundation for living your life. How can we fix this? Increasing work and improving high school graduation rates. Kids aren't graduating high school nearly as much as back in the past. Back in the past, people would graduate high school and they would get married right out of high school and they would get a job. And the amount of living was not as high as it is today. But kids aren't graduating, they're going off doing their own thing, and they're just being stupid kids, and they just aren't graduating high school enough for them to make enough money, and they can't even go out of New York. Increasing work. New York needs more jobs, clearly. They need more jobs there, whether it's fast food or stop replacing people with robots and stop sending jobs overseas. People need these jobs. They need to live in New York. And New York also needs to lower their taxes. People can't afford to live in their homes anymore because of the amount of taxes needed to live in New York. There's a big problem right now in New York, and not just in New York, around the world, and poverty needs to come to an end. If we can all come together to end poverty, that would be great, but we need to start somewhere and end poverty and help these people out that are living in poverty.